And on one of the days we're going for free, and so one of my friends and one of my friends has free for me. So you guys ready for the name tag on and have zeros. Daniel, did you want to get with them or not?
You want me to send my
Yeah, so why don't you put your top here? You guys will present here. Did you bring candles?
Yeah.
Did you bring candles? And the candle? And the light? Right.
And so this one go, it's like top right here. You know, I'll see the policies, you know, and like to have
Absolutely on the shofar.
What? Right, should I get show for? Excited to meet.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then, it's like Friday.
Okay, sorry, I got interrupted. Who else is coming?
It just starts.
Who are we missing? Can anyone help me who we're missing? Doesn't matter, we're gonna start. Okay, you guys, we're gonna start. So everyone take out, you have your agenda, what we're doing today. Thank you, thank you. I want to welcome all of you here. I am very, very excited about this program. We really do make a big difference. And so I'm happy that you have all decided, I can't do this, to be with us. Thank you all. Okay, my name is Randy Gold and I'm the coordinator. If at any time you have any questions, you text, you email, you call, whatever, I'm always available for you guys. Okay? This is Sharon Rogoff. Thanks to Sharon, we have student to student. She brought it to Sacramento, so I will always be grateful. Miriam's mom, Suzanne Braybeck, she is on the agenda. You will hear from her a little bit later. And Rabbi Reuben, who's had Panina last year, and we have been graced with Hannah last year. Wait, I'm the year before.
No, just last year.
Just last year and now. Yay. Thank you, because I know that this is an incredibly busy time right before Rosh Hashanah. So it's very nice that he's taking time out of this busy day to help make us all be smarter. Great. Okay. Don't forget to eat, that Jewish mom. So don't forget pizza, water, and fruits out there at any time. Help yourselves. If you need a restroom, it's out the foyer on the other side. Just go when you need to go, and I will make sure to also give you a break. Okay? So I think you all know that the resurgence of anti-Semitism is here, and unfortunately, I think it's here to stay. And I think that in 2024, the ADL tabulated there were 9,354 anti-Semitic incidences. That was just the United States. There was an increase of 5% from 2023 and a 344% increase over the past 5 years and an 893% over the past 10 years. Does that sound a little out of control? Yeah, it's not good. That's why we're here to support each other. And that's what I think Student to Student is such a wonderful program. We're really excited to have Student to Student here. It started in St. Louis, as I know you all know, 33 years ago. It's only been in Sacramento for 3. So this is our 3rd year. We are now in 40 cities in North America. Why do I say North America? Because where else would it be? Don't answer. Hello? Wake up.
Canada.
Thank you.
I just.
Now we're in Canada as well. Oh, there he is. Hello, don't forget your name tag. Welcome.
Mess.
Yeah, it's all over. We have so many stories. So here, just so you know, most of student to student is with the JCRC, but we are part of the Jewish Federation of Sacramento. And we will say that, yes, every time we give a presentation, okay? As you can see, where's Daniel? Daniel will be up in just a moment, and he will explain to us what student to student meant to him, what he got out of it, and what he thinks that he impacted other students that he was presenting to. So I think it'll be great for you all to hear that. Daniel and Nessa will do a mock presentation. And I want especially the newer folks, check it out, listen. You're going to be doing this too. You will always have something, an outline to look at. It's in your folder. So you don't go up there just like, what am I supposed to do? Okay, you'll be fine. Suzanne will give us a discussion on effective presentations. I'll talk about the logistics of student to student. Rabbi will help us with our challenging questions. And honestly, I just want to tell you guys, we've really been lucky so far. We haven't been hassled. We've been highly respected. Nessa's agreeing because she's been in Kana. So I just want you to know that you're safe. And you'll be more comfortable at some schools, maybe than other schools. Okay. At the end, you'll have a breakout with your groups of 3 to 4. Unfortunately, come on in. Hello, welcome. Unfortunately, not everyone could be here, but most of us are. Okay, what are we going to first do? Lucas, you're going to start by saying what your name is. And he's sick, that's why he's wearing a mask. He's trying to protect us. Isn't that nice of him? Thank you. Name, grade, school, and some maybe extracurricular activity that you're involved in. Now, before you start, this is exactly what you say at your presentations. You will never give your last name. Okay? If you're up to it, you can give a fun fact about you, but it's not necessary. Lucas.
My name is Lucas. I'm in 11th grade at Indercombe High School, and I play water polo for my school.
Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Isaac. I'm a senior at Davis Senior High School, and I like to swim.
I heard it's a little more than I'd like to swim. He's in the upper echelons of that, correct?
Yeah, I swim for. I'm gonna swim for Team USA next summer.
Just wanted to accolades a little bit. We're here to support each other on all levels. Thank you.
My name's Kayla. I go to Granite Bay High School and I'm a senior. And I play girls flag football.
Nice.
I'm Rowie. I go to Rio. I'm in 11th grade and I play soccer.
Look at this, all these athletes. You guys are wonderful.
My name is Henry. I'm a junior at Jesuit and I play rugby.
The pressure's on, like, sorry.
My name is Zoe. I'm a sophomore at Oakmont and I do both theater and 3 different cheer teams at Oakmont.
Wow, you guys are amazing.
I'm Miriam. I'm a junior. I also go to Granite Bay. And I love all things music. I play 4 instruments.
You guys are so talented. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm a junior at El Camino. And I've been playing flute for 3 to 4 years.
Wow.
I'm
Thank
also
you.
Miriam. I also go to Oakmeal and I play song.
Okay, and we have a little aside here. If you're not gonna say it, I am.
Oh.
Yeah, I figured that. So Mary spent how many months this summer?
Well, it was weeks.
We spent like,
We landed the day before the war. We left after the war and then we went back the next month for a while.
She plays on the Israeli softball team. And she now has citizenship in Israel as well as the United States. Yay. It's wonderful. Yes, sir.
My name is Elliot. I'm an 11th grader in PFA. It's a performing arts school in Natomas, and I do ballet.
Unbelievable. Miss Nessa.
I'm Nessa, I'm a senior at McClatchy, and I'm really involved with theater at my school. I'm currently directing the fall play, and I'm also learning how to be a referee for roller derby.
Wow. Okay.
My name is Ross. I'm a senior at Newcomb Charter School, preschool. Then I do stage craft, so like building sets and all that and stuff. And last semester I went to Israel for 4 months.
Nice. Study abroad. Isn't this great? You guys have so much to offer. It's exciting. Thank you all. Is there anybody right here who's had an unfortunate anti-Semitic experience this past, period? Miriam?
wait.
Well, I know you have. Has anyone else? No. Yeah. Yeah. Don't be shy. Yeah, I mean. And we're going to be talking about those experiences only if you're comfortable at the schools. We never ask you to share something you are not comfortable with. Are you comfortable sharing here with us right now? Mary, go ahead.
Yeah, I can go. I think it was my freshman year, like right after October 7th happened, there was this Palestinian girl in my choir class who she like said to one of my friends, she was like, "Oh, I hate Miriam because she's Jewish." And then when my friend was like, "Well, what about Gabe, my older brother?"
Right.
And she was like, "Oh, I like him." And she's like, "But that's Miriam's brother." And she's like, "Oh, I hate him too." So that was
Oh my gosh.
that was pretty unfortunate, I would say.
So much for that relationship. Zoe?
I got told by a friend's friend that I looked like I would smoke galaxy gas with my ancestors in reference to the gas chambers at the Holocaust. And there was a whole bunch of Holocaust jokes going on at my school, especially because I'm an AP hero. It is going to get a slightly worse, especially with the guys in my class. And I am very openly Jewish at my school. A lot of people know this, and they just don't really care, and they will still make them in front of me, and it's just things that are not so great.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Terrible. Lucas?
Mine is probably just like I tell like a lot of my friends that I'm Jewish, but like other than that, like not as much. But like I've just like throughout years of being at school, you just notice like people just make jokes, and it's like you don't realize like who like you just like walk by and you hear jokes, and it's like it's not fun to listen to the different jokes that people make.
Terrible, I'm sorry. Mary?
So you guys know I played for Team Israel, and so we played in Canada and Spain this summer. And during the European Championships in Spain, except for one day, like hundreds of protesters would come out, and they would, I've been called a baby killer in like 4 different languages now, and they would set off like firecrackers and yell at us, and they would call us Nazis. But we had the Saragossa Jewish community there for every single one of our games supporting us. So it shows that like anti-Semitism truly is worldwide, but like there are still like supportive groups out there who are like there for you.
You know, thank you all for sharing. I know it's very difficult, and that is why student to student is so important. We need to make a difference. You need to make a difference. I'm just here to support you speaking up. So thank you. Our partnering schools are reporting more anti-Semitic comments in their hallways, especially since October 7th. Obviously, you know, on the college campuses. I know I sent this to all of you, so I'll just plug this a little bit right now. Next Sunday, right across the way, we're doing, has anybody seen, Marion has, the documentary October 8th? Besides Marion? No? Well, I would encourage you all, especially the seniors. Juniors, of course, are invited, sophomores, of course, but seniors, to hear to see some of the things that happened and to listen to the panel discussion that will be afterwards. So if you have any questions, if you want me to compensate it so you can go, feel free to ask me. It's $5 and we'd love to have you all there. It starts at 3 o'clock and ends at 5 next Sunday. Okay. Yes. So when you speak up, because we're recording this, because a couple students are not able to be here, try to make sure to project your voice so it can be heard on the recording. Thank you so much. So we know that what we do works. 84% of the students in the audience reported that they have shared what they learned or have taken another step to learn more about Judaism. So all the people you're talking to, 84%, that's a big number. 27% said that they stood up and countered against an anti-Semitic incident. Well, that's good. I mean, it's better than nothing, right? And 94% of the teachers reported that they discussed after you all left the presentation, the class continued to speak about our topics. So we are making a difference. And the survey at the end, let's see if it's hand up. Okay, 1 second. The survey at the end, it's really important. We're going to show them a QR code and they're going to fill these surveys out. We need to know that what we're doing is making a difference and we want that documented. Bravo.
The only thing I want to say about that 27% is 27% did something in regards to an anti-Semitic attack that they were, number one, able to identify as such, and number two, in their own circle, happened to encounter one which is not as much a given as it is an obstacle. So they may not have identified it as quickly, they might not even have experienced it as much. You know, it's because of the circus thing. So that 27%, you know, it doesn't sound like a lot, but I think it is a lot.
Okay, this may be the first time that students you're speaking to have really met a Jewish person. We were in Granite Bay the first year we did this. When we asked, has anyone been to a bar mitzvah? Know anything about a Jewish wedding? There were 90 kids. Not one single one of them had gone or heard or knew anything. I was a little bit surprised because I guess I'm used to the Rio Jesuit, you know, where half the class has been to a bar mitzvah, right? But we go out to schools where these folks need to hear what you have to say. Student to student will help you face the challenges of anti-Semitism. And if it's not, then ask me or any of our other advisors. There are 6 or 7 of us that will be going to presentation, one at a time, but there will always be an adult with you. Okay, so I told you we have an outline for you to use at presentations. Remember that it's not a script, okay? When Nessa and Daniel do this, if you would follow through in your presentation outline, they'll be up in just a few moments. When you do this, you will be presenting with 3 or 4 students. So don't feel like this is all on you. It is not. We share this, okay? Your personal stories are what makes the presentation stick. When you tell a story, Miriam, it means something because it's your story. So when Lucas goes to school and talks about these things, people are like, oh, really? That happened to you? Or, wow. You know, we're not just here to blah, 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 and we're not up there to be a teacher. Well, we are a teacher, but we're not up there to lecture, okay? So please, who's here been to Israel? Can I see a show of hands? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you're not giving presentations. Me too. But anyways, so hopefully we have one of you in each group because those stories are what's helpful. How many of you are connected in some way or have a story about the Holocaust? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, not that that's good. I'm sorry. I really am. However, that story, you're the legacy. So if you can, you share these stories because you're what keeps these people alive. Okay. Okay, Daniel, tell us what you got out of Student to Student. Tell us how you felt you impacted students. But you're welcome to come up here and I'll get out of your way. Can I leave my stuff here?
Sure, yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, hi everybody. My name's Daniel. I just graduated from Granite Bay High School. I'm a freshman at Sierra College right now. So the first question was how it like impacted me.
So first thing was, what did you get out of Student to Student?
I think the biggest thing that I got out of was just like the like ability to like confront people and like talk to people about Judaism and also like wanting to share more about Judaism. Because before I kind of never really wanted to like, I didn't really like not want to talk about it, but I didn't really like talk about like Judaism that much to my like friends and people at my school. There wasn't really a lot of Jewish people at my school, or very little. So I think it kind of gave me like the mindset and like the motivation to actually want to reach out to people, want to hear not just like anti-Semitic stuff or something like that, but also just like educating people about Judaism. And it really just made me more passionate about sharing and like, you know, helping people, you know, understand, you know. I went to Granite Bay High School, football. Yes, only kid, football, wrestling. But yeah, so very little. Miriam and her brother Gabe also go to Granite Bay. My sister goes to Granite Bay, and there's probably maybe like, I don't know, less than 10. I don't really know, but out of like 2,000 kids, so there's really not a lot of Jewish people at my school at all. So yeah.
You were able to impart to these kids with our presentation?
I think that the kids were like a lot of the stuff that we share, they were like surprised, interested. You could tell. I mean, just looking at all the kids asking questions, they were obviously interested in it. And I think the biggest thing was that you just hope that they would like talk to other kids about it, share like, oh, I learned this and that. Like when you say like, what is the percent population of Jewish people? A lot of people are like surprised about that. And you just yeah, so this is like a question in the presentation. You asked like, what percentage of the population do you guys think is Jewish? Yeah, in the United States, and then you'd get all sorts of, you know, numbers. Yeah,
Anybody?
yeah,
2% of the United States.
yeah,
Mary, you've done it.
yeah. Yeah, so you get, you know, you get like 50%, 30%, and then you shock them by saying, you know, 2% in the US, 0.2% in the world. And then you can just like, you know, you hope that they, you know, just share that fact around with other people and they share other stuff that we tell them and, oh, this is really cool. I didn't even know anything about this. And then, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of funny things, funny stories
Yeah.
we got out of the presentation. Is there anything you'd like to impart to these students going in, some of them who have never done a presentation before?
Yeah. I
that
think,
might be nervous?
yeah.
I need a mic, since when? Your reading voice is waning. Okay, well. What did anything you could impart to our students who have not done a presentation that would help them
Yeah.
moving
I would
forward?
say the biggest thing is like, don't worry about being nervous. It's okay if you're nervous or, you're not like amazing at public speaking or well, it doesn't really matter because you'll like by the time you get midway through it, you get in the flow of things. And I think the biggest thing is just be yourself and share your personal stories about it. Like, don't try to like read the script too much, look down at it for points and stuff, but really just give your story, your personal experiences. That's the biggest thing. People want to connect with the individual person, not so much just like they don't just want to hear like a ton of facts and stuff. They want to like connect with you as a person. I think that's what makes the biggest difference.
But we do have to make sure to cover the points
Yes.
on
For
the outline.
yes. My point was like share your personal stories, Yeah.
We're going to do a presentation. Normally, when we go into the schools, I'm supposed to keep talking in this thing for a minute. Normally, when we go into the schools, the presentations can be anywhere from 40 minutes to 90. That's a big range, but I have timed the sections. Don't worry. We will impart wisdom when we do a presentation. The other thing is I want to be really clear about this. We all make mistakes because that's how we learn. That's okay, right? If you make a mistake and it's not like earth-shattering or devastating, we, the adults, are not always going to jump in because this is your presentation. But we are there if you need us. So please feel free to make eye contact with us or whatever it takes, or just say, Randy, I don't know what,
All right. So we are from Student to Student and the Jewish Federation of the Sacramento region, and we're going to talk a little bit about our lives as Jewish teens. Before we start, we wanted to say that at the end of every section, we are going to stop and ask for questions. Feel free to ask whatever questions you are curious about. We do reserve the right to veto questions, but we'll probably answer most of the questions you ask. And so my name is Nessa. I am a senior at McClatchy, and I do a lot of theater at school.
My name is Daniel. I'm a freshman at Sierra College and I play football.
All right, and Daniel's going to start us off with talking about some basics of Judaism.
Okay, so Judaism is the oldest monotheistic religion, which meaning one God. Jewish people, we study the Torah, which is also the Old Testament, or for Christians. Basically, it's the teachings of how to live your life, how to make the world a better place. And there's 3 different branches of Judaism that basically relate to how closely you would adhere to the Torah and its teachings. So the first branch of Judaism, which I will share our branches, is Reform Judaism. So Reform Judaism is like choice through knowledge, which is you basically, for a lack of a better term, kind of pick and choose what is meaningful to you, what you want to observe with Judaism. Conservative Judaism is not conservative in the political sense, but conservative in like the practicing. It's more traditional ways of practicing Judaism, but there's a little bit of room for change and a little bit of room for like doing some different things. And then the third branch of Judaism is Orthodox Judaism, which is you try to adhere as closely as possible to the Torah. So I personally am, I've been conservative. I've been a conservative Jew before, but right now I'm a Reformed Jew. And basically, my family is not super strict with Judaism. We, we'll celebrate Shabbat most weeks. We celebrate most holidays, most of the major holidays, but we're not super strict. We don't keep kosher, which we'll get into in a second.
All right, and I'm also a Reformed Jew. I go to a Reformed synagogue, and in my family, we try to make time to celebrate most of the major holidays, celebrate Shabbat, but we don't keep Shabbat in the same way that many Orthodox Jews do. And we keep modified form of kosher instead of full kosher. All right, does anyone have any questions? All right, we're going to move on then. The next section we're going to be talking about is the Jewish life cycle. There are 4 main parts of the Jewish life cycle that kind of span throughout a person's life. The first one is birth, which is obviously where life starts for most people. So for boys, the first sort of Jewish event is the bris, which is 8 days after birth, which is circumcision. For girls, it's called Simcha Bat, which is a naming ceremony. Then between that and the next life cycle event, we have lots of different education ways. So I attended religious school from the time I was 3 years old to the time I was in 7th grade. Did you attend a religious school at all?
Yes, I did. Since I was probably in like kindergarten until 6th grade, I guess, was in Hebrew school, learned to read Hebrew, and chant and get basically just prepared for bar mitzvah, which
All right. And as he just said, the next life cycle event is the bar and bat mitzvah. So bar is for boys, bat is for girls. Has anyone in this room ever been to a bar and bat mitzvah? All right. So a bar bat mitzvah means child of the commandment. It's usually when in Reform Judaism, it's when a boy or girl turns 13. Some traditions, it's when a girl turns 12. There are different ways of practicing it, especially between boys and girls, but based on the branches. The main part is being surrounded by your family. You chant a bit of Torah. You'll give a drosh, which is a sermon. So I had a bat mitzvah, but mine was during COVID, so I wasn't able to have family together with me as much as, my younger siblings did who just went through theirs. But I learned a long portion of Torah to chant. I chanted that. I did a speech, and I helped lead the service. Did you have a bar bat mitzvah?
yes, I did. My bar mitzvah was during COVID, so we weren't really able to have like people there, but it was like virtual. So it ended up being really good because a lot of people who wouldn't have been able to come were able to still see me have my bar mitzvah. And then also during this time we'd pass out like the Torah like as a prop around the classroom.
All right, let's go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
Why not? All right, here we go. All right, so we actually brought two different what are called taluses or talit with us. You want to show you?
Yeah.
All right, so Daniel's is a more traditional one. Mine is definitely less traditional, but it meets all the requirements, so it counts. So I'm gonna hold this up. I don't have a hand with the microphone, but that's okay. So this is what it looks like. I still really do not have enough hands for this. I'm so sorry. Hold on. How should I do this? I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you. Hannah's gonna help hold. You want to hold yours? Hannah will help hold this one. All right, perfect. So the main parts of it, not everyone has writing on this like this, but this is the blessing we say before we put it on. We also have these seat on the ends, all four corners, and they have 316 knot. 316? That sounds right. Sorry. I swear I cannot keep numbers. 613. 613 knots, which signify the 613 mitzvot or rules. Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
So it's not actually 613 dots.
Hmm.
Every Hebrew letter has a numerical value.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Sadi is 90, Yud is 10. Do that again, so now you have 200. Tav is the last letter is 400. There are 8 strings on each corner and 5 knots. So there's your 613.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry. Some religious school teacher. Okay.
Thank you.
Perfect. All right. And so next, we're going to go on to the next life cycle event, which is, do you want to say the blessing? Okay.
So there's a Hebrew on the back right here. So it's Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitzanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahitatef batzitzit. Kiss it. This is how you do it.
Yes.
So this right here is a kippah. Traditionally, so you wear it to show respect to God. You wear it on your head when you're in congregation, especially when you're on the bima, which is like the platform that you're on when you read Torah from in front of the congregation, and then wear it like this.
Perfect. And before we move on to the next one, I actually do have one more thing that I'm going to pass around. Actually, I'm going to hold it because I'm not going to pass it. I have in this box to fill in. Take a look at them. Just going to walk around.
He does lay to fill in, or you ever want to during a presentation? It depends. If it's a 90-minute presentation, we have time. It's at 40, not so much.
Yeah. So I personally don't lay tefillin. This is an old set that was my great-grandfather's set of tefillin. But a lot of men, especially Orthodox men, will lay tefillin when they pray in the morning and the evenings. I actually cannot get this back in the box with one hand, so we're just going to put that down. All right. So the next section is the Jewish wedding, which is the next life cycle event. The Jewish wedding is especially in the US, is a lot like any sort of other wedding. Sorry, cannot do this with one hand. All right. So there's a couple major differences though in terms of like traditions and things we do. The first one is called a chuppah. So can we get a volunteer to come up? Perfect. It's a little tangled, but it's fine. Just grab a corner. All right, so this is what's called a chuppah. And it's often held up with sticks on either side as well. It's not necessarily held straight up like this. But it's a part of the Jewish wedding ceremony. It represents Abraham's tent being open on all four sides. I feel really awkward saying all these like rule things in front of you. Sorry, that was a little bit of diversion, but whatever. So this will be part of the Jewish wedding ceremony. The other part that is a major difference is at the end of the Jewish wedding ceremony, a piece of cloth wrapped in a glass will be stomped on by the groom, which kind of symbolizes that even in good days, there are bad things. We can put this down. Yeah. You're good. All right. So Jewish wedding ceremonies, like many other weddings, involve a lot of joyful dancing, and we also raise the bride and groom on chairs, which is something that happens at bar mitzvahs too sometimes. All right. The last Jewish part of the Jewish life cycle is death. In the Jewish tradition, we try to bury bodies as quickly as possible when we don't really do cremation or embalming. And the community comes together to bury the body. Then what comes is Next, what comes is a process called Shiva, which is where the community takes care of the mourning family. They bring them food for 7 days, and they pray together. Does anyone have any questions about the Jewish life cycle? Yes. It's really a personal choice for most people. I think that I would. It doesn't necessarily matter to me as long as, if I have kids, I can raise my kids Jewish. That's really important to me, but it's really a personal choice. Do you want to?
Yeah, I think I guess I would like a Jewish wife, but to like more specifically, it's not like against like the law in Judaism to like marry somebody non-Jewish, but like I guess yeah, it's a personal choice. Yeah.
All right, any other questions? All right, we're gonna move on to Shabbat then.
Okay, so Shabbat, or the Jewish Sabbath, it begins on sunset on Friday and ends on sundown on Saturday. Basically, it comes from the book of Genesis when God created the earth in 6 days and then rested on the seventh day. And we do a lot of different things traditionally. So here we have Shabbat candles right here. So typically you'll be together with your family and friends after like a hard week and just kind of on a day of rest. And so right here is these are candles right here. And then I guess, should we light them or?
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to do this.
You gotta. There we go. I had to learn how to light a match last year to do this. It's not very good. Oh.
And then also we have here Kiddush cup.
Bless.
Oh yeah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
And that, do we have a translation for that on our sheet? I don't think we do. Usually I try to write that down on a piece of paper when I do it.
Yeah. So we do that, and then we do. So this right here is a Kiddush cup. So typically we have wine in this cup, and then.
Or grape juice.
Yeah, or grape juice, and then we'll say a blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu b'rei pri hagafen. Amen.
That was definitely not right. That's okay.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna know that
True.
you just made a mistake. We all knew that, but none of us.
Okay. All right, and then we do have Paul.
Yeah.
No, it's the other one.
They're just like, to them, this is form.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, we should have the English here. So then, and then.
That's the whole.
Yeah.
Reason that one.
Okay.
This one's frozen.
And we have a challah cover. Or no?
Yes.
We do.
One of them's the demo and one's the handout.
This one's demo.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
And I don't usually jump in that much, so this is a little, yeah, I'll be fine.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. And then this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this one's the frozen one.
And that's what we do. We have, usually they're pre-cut. We'll cut the, whoever's going with you will pre-cut them.
So
Talk about personal.
yeah. So personally, my Shabbat every week usually looks sometimes it's honestly a little bit inconsistent. My family tries to do Shabbat every week, but we're not super strict about it. If it doesn't happen, if we're busy or somebody's out or whatever, it's not the biggest deal in the world, but we still try to do it every single week. We're not as strict.
In my family, we get together, we light the candles every Friday night. But and we also go to services a lot for Shabbat. Personally, my favorite way to celebrate Shabbat is at camp. So we'll all get together, we'll dress in white, we'll have a big service with the whole camp and a big all camp meal, and then we'll do a lot of singing and dancing afterwards. It's a lot of fun.
And then to end Shabbat, we have a service known as Havdalah.
You should probably take these out.
Oh yeah.
Randy, did you say not blowing the candles out? Randy, do you want us to not blow the candles out? That's paper.
I know. Need tinfoil.
Okay.
I do that in your
Yeah.
script.
Okay.
I guess not.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah. So the next thing we'd have is Havdalah, which is the service that we'd have to separate Shabbat from the next week. I didn't bring my spice box with me, but normally we'd pass that around also. And then I would say like the spices is supposed to kind of like remind you of like the spirit inside of you, I'm pretty sure. And then there's supposed to be usually Havdalah, there's usually supposed to be a little bit of sadness to it because you're saying goodbye to the holiness of Shabbat. And now you have to get ready for the next week. So that's Shabbat. And then.
And does anyone have any questions about Shabbat? Yes.
Right.
So personally, the Jewish belief is that Jesus is not the Messiah. We believe that there's a possibility that maybe someone named Jesus did exist and did do some of the things that are mentioned. But our belief is that Jesus is not the Messiah. So we don't really follow him as a religious figure.
Yeah. And then also like just if you guys ever get the question like why do you guys like not believe in Jesus? I always like respond with that's just what we've been taught, and that's just what we've been taught. That's always usually what I just respond with.
All right. Does anyone have any other questions? Perfect. We're going to move on to a little bit of a more serious unit, which is anti-Semitism and the Holocaust. So anti-Semitism is strictly defined as prejudice against or the hatred of Jews. It didn't start or end with the Holocaust. It existed way before, and it still exists in the modern day. For thousands of years, Jews have been the target of conspiracy theories, bigotry, stereotyping, and of course, violence. So my family did come to the US because of anti-Semitism. Half of that side of the family came because of the pogroms in Russia, which were violent attacks on Jewish people on kind of like the outskirts of Russia. And the other half of my family came during and right after the Holocaust. So I'm going to share a little bit about my family history with the Holocaust. So my great-grandfather, he lived in Poland. His whole family was put into the ghettos. He managed to escape out, and he made his way somehow across the entirety of Nazi-occupied France and into Italy, where he lived until the end of the war. And he tried to immigrate to the US. The US turned him away at the borders because they already had too many refugees. They sent him down to Cuba, and he eventually had to marry a Jewish woman to get into the country. He found out later that with the exception of his two older siblings who had came over before the start of the Holocaust, the entire rest of his family had died in the Holocaust. Do you want to share any stories?
Yeah, so my grandfather, who's still alive, he left Poland when he was like 3. I'm pretty sure like right before the war started. So luckily he was able to get out, and that's really all I really know about. But the thing with like the Nazis is they were like notoriously very good at keeping records. So even today you can still find like family members who died in the Holocaust. And then we have also this book right here, which we'll pass around, which the word Jew is written 6 million times to just give context to how many people died in the Holocaust.
So that book, each page has 4,800 words, and there are 1,250 pages. So take a look through, pass it around. So before the Holocaust, 9 million Jews lived in Europe. And then during the course of the Holocaust, 6 million of them were murdered by the Nazis. Has anyone in this room ever been to a Holocaust museum before? So Holocaust museums are wonderful places to remember our family members who we lost and the horrible tragedy that happened. They are usually funded by groups against anti-Semitism or the family members of people killed in the Holocaust or of Holocaust survivors. Yes, we did that. Okay, so because of our experiences with anti-Semitism and violence, Jewish people are often involved in and we form organizations for social justice and philanthropy all over in various causes, and we work to aid people no matter their religion, their race, or their ethnicity. What does anyone have a guess? What percentage of the world is Jewish? Yes. Wonderful. Does anyone have a guess for what percentage of people in the US are Jewish? Perfect. All right. In Sacramento, it's less than 1%. And yet, despite being 2% of the US population, even before October 7th, 2023, the FBI reported that 68% of all religious-based hate crime incidents targeted Jews in the US. In 2023, anti-Jewish hate crimes had increased by 63%. The ADL, which is the Anti-Defamation League, reported almost 350% increase in such crimes over the past 5 years. So I've been pretty lucky to not have experienced any sort of major anti-Semitism. And most of what I've experienced has been a result of people just kind of not really knowing about Judaism at all. I'd say the main thing I've experienced is a lot of ignorance. I had a kid when I was like really young in elementary school who tried to convince me that I should pray over her with my Jew magic so she could pass all her tests. And I also teach first grade at my synagogue, and one of my former students, while I was teaching her, was told by her classmate that all Jewish people were baby killers who ate babies. And it made her so upset that she decided she didn't want to be Jewish anymore, and she stopped coming to religious school for a couple months. Do you have any sort of anti-Semitic incidents you want to share?
Yeah, luckily I've never really like personally like experienced any anti-Semitism like targeted directly towards me, but I've seen like a lot of stuff at my school, like swastikas, and like one time like on the football field somebody put like fences up like as a swastika in the middle of the field. So I've seen like a lot of anti-Semitic stuff at my school, but I've never luckily experienced any like personal hate. So luckily, yeah.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yes.
You mentioned death before. Didn't occur to me when you were talking about that. But talking about now anti-Semitism and some of the things that people hit on with Jews. You believe in heaven?
A lot of that is a personal choice. I do know that heaven is mentioned in the Torah, but hell is not mentioned in the Torah. There are a lot of different, Jewish folk tales, different beliefs about heaven and hell and what happens in the afterlife. I don't think there's one like consistent, this is the way that it is.
Yeah, like I said, there's not a whole lot of mentioning of that instead of the afterlife and the Torah, I don't think. And I think the focus of Judaism, like we want to be the best we can be while we're on earth and not focus too much on the afterlife. So yeah.
All right, we are going to move on to Israel.
Okay, so Israel is the historic homeland of the Jewish people. It's home to a lot of our holiest sites. It was established in 1948 by the UN mandate after the war, and Jews have lived there for thousands of years. During that time when Israel became like a state, there was like a movement called Zionism, which Zionism is just the belief that Jews have the right to govern themselves. It doesn't disqualify like Palestinians from like the right to self-determination. And Israel is very similar to the US in terms of culture, in terms of things like, music, television, all sorts of stuff. It's very similar. And then pass around. This right here is a Harry Potter book written in Hebrew. So like normal books, we read them from left to right, but Hebrew read it from right to left. So it's like flipped. And also Israel is an ally of the US because it's the only real democracy in the Middle East. It's also a pioneer in technology, things like the Waze navigation system, phones, thumb drives, I think, were all invented in Israel. And I think Jerusalem a big city in Israel, was like the first city to have Wi-Fi in the world, I'm pretty sure. So a lot of things have been created there. And then how big do you guys think Israel is compared to like a US state? Like just give a US state that you think compares to Israel. Yes. Yes, California is 20 times bigger. I think it's like, I don't know if it's like New Jersey or something, but yeah, California is 20 times bigger than Israel. I think we have like a map here or something to show that, but
Yeah.
yeah. So you guys have this in your packet, I think. So you can show this comparison of Israel to California. And then also normally if you guys are in a classroom, we'd have like a whiteboard here and we could write our names in Hebrew and then be able to like read Hebrew a little bit. And what else? I personally have never been to Israel before. I don't know, Nessa, have you been to Israel before? So if somebody in your group has, I'd recommend bringing photos of if you've been to Israel before, and then share your experiences about being in Israel. And then yeah.
Any questions?
Any questions?
What do you feel about what's going on in Gaza?
So we're not going to directly address any sort of politics, but what we can talk about is the way that the war has impacted us as American Jews. So, like we mentioned during the anti-Semitism unit, the war has caused a tremendous rise in anti-Semitism in the U.S. Just across social media, across our schools in person, anti-Semitic things being done outside of our synagogues, stuff like that. So the rise in anti-Semitism as a result of that is something that has directly affected us. Anything to add to that? Perfect. Yes. Yeah, so there's a new section we just added to our packet. So he has the old version of the packet.
Oh.
There's a new section that we'll make sure we share at the beginning of that. All right. Yeah. Yeah, I can read that. So before we talk about any sort of personal and historic connections to Israel, we will acknowledge that there is a war going on between a terrorist organization called Hamas and the country of Israel. We hurt for all of those who are suffering the war. During this presentation, we will not be discussing politics or policies, and we are praying for a speedy and peaceful end to the war and a safe return of the Israeli hostages. All right. Any questions? Perfect. So we're going to move on to the section called kashrut, which is, you might have heard the word kosher. So kosher means fit to eat. So we pulled these sort of rules from the books of Leviticus and Deuteronomy. The basic rules of kosher include keeping milk and meat separate, which comes from the phrase in the Torah, don't boil a baby goat in its mother's milk. So in a lot of Orthodox homes, they will have separate sets of dishes, separate dishwashers. For milk versus meat dishes, you won't eat them in the same meal, and oftentimes there's different practices for this, but you'll have to wait a certain amount of time between eating the two. Any land animal that is kosher must have split hooves and chew their cud. So that's an example of that as a cow, but not a pig, because a pig does not chew their cuds. There we go. We do not eat birds of prey or shellfish, and so any sort of fish that we eat must have fins and scales. Some examples of kosher birds include chicken, turkey, and duck, and fish, which includes cod and salmon and tuna. So we don't eat any sort of shellfish. That includes shrimp, lobster, I think is a shellfish. So personally, the way that I practice, we have a modified kosher. We do eat milk and meat together, but I don't eat meat because I'm a vegetarian. And we don't eat shellfish in my house. But we don't have separate sets of dishes or separate dishwashers. So the killing of Torah, nope. The killing of animals must be as humane and painless as possible. And processed foods, any sort of processed foods must have a kosher certification. So lots of different kosher symbols. Has anyone in this room ever eaten kosher food before? All right. So in a lot of classrooms we go to, people won't raise their hands for that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pass out these Oreos. So if everyone can take a look and try to locate the kosher certification on these Oreos.
And then we'll have it right up. We'll usually write it up on the whiteboard, the kosher symbol or the multiple different types of kosher symbols, and then or a hechsher.
All right. And do you want to share a little bit about whether you keep kosher? Yes.
Yes.
Not when I was in a classroom, no.
No.
Sound weird to anybody else sitting in the.
Yeah, to us.
Yeah.
We have to figure out some different
Okay.
verbiage because for us, we know, we understand. But for people that don't have our background, they find it peculiar.
Christians use the Old Testament, Muslims use the Bible. I would imagine that most people have heard that personally.
Yeah, I don't, nobody has ever said anything to us in a presentation. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
Every time I've ever had somebody ask me like why we don't mix milk and meat together, I give them that quote or I say something along the lines and they're like, that makes sense. Oh, so
All done.
I think it's okay.
Thank you for that, Miriam. I appreciate it.
All right.
That's come up a lot.
So I've shared a little bit about the way that my family does kosher. Do you want to share a little bit about your experience with it?
Yeah. My family doesn't keep kosher. We don't like eat a ton of meat and milk together. Like it's not like we do that anyways, but it's not like if somebody has a cheeseburger, like it's not really like we just don't keep kosher really. But most people who are Orthodox would have like separate dishwashers and sinks for meat and milk, silverware and dishes and things like that.
Does anyone have any questions about keeping kosher?
Anna has a question. And you just talked about this topic, but we were planting questions and you knew because I told you. So let's say you kept kosher.
Yes.
You're pretending to keep kosher. Then Tana said, a student in the class, you mean you can't eat a cheeseburger?
So no, for people who do keep kosher, we don't eat cheeseburgers because that is mixing milk and meat. I know some people who do keep kosher, they'll eat a veggie burger with cheese or they will eat a hamburger without cheese. Any other questions?
I think what's the time limit? You have to wait like an hour
On personal
per
practice.
person.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, any questions? Perfect. You want to take us away with most recent holiday?
Yeah, so I guess the next up holiday is Rosh Hashanah in late September, I'm pretty sure, which Rosh Hashanah is the first day on the Jewish calendar. It's a Jewish New Year. So we don't have a shofar here, but normally we would. And then I'd say like,
We do.
oh, we do? Okay.
I was gonna bring one, but I heard you had one.
It's on the table.
Where?
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Sorry, I was in the back. I totally missed this.
So this is what we call a shofar. It's a ram's horn, and I can't blow into it, but normally you blow into it, and then it basically is like symbol. It's a very like strong sound, and it's supposed to just like I'm not sure about the like significance of it, but I'm pretty sure it dates back somewhere in like where you're up on a hill or something, blowing the shofar just to like symbolize to everybody it's the new year. And can you blow this?
I cannot. Do not have a
Yeah. If somebody in your group can blow it, I suggest blowing it because especially it wakes up the class, I think. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then also some other traditions we'd have in Rosh Hashanah is dipping apples in honey, which is just symbolizes sweet New Year. Normally we might try like new fruits, just like there's a lot of food in Rosh Hashanah. Well, most Jewish holidays there's a lot of food, but there's a lot of like sweet foods to symbolize it having a sweet New Year. You'll be together with family. You can also invite non-Jewish people. It's just a whole celebration with all everybody, and that's also the significance of it is it's like a day to kind of like it's like a day of forgiveness. We do something called no. Oh, I'm reading from the wrong thing. Oh, sorry, I'm reading from the wrong thing. Okay, then okay, that's Yom Kippur. And then maybe I'd ask like Yeah, Jewish, it's a Jewish New Year. I'm sorry, I read it for the wrong thing. And then I would guess, should I like talk about like Hanukkah? No.
If people bring it up.
Yeah, I don't know. And then do you guys know about any Jewish holidays? Yeah. And maybe somebody would say Hanukkah and then we talk to them about Hanukkah. Yeah.
Does anyone have any
Any
questions?
questions on Rosh Hashanah?
We don't usually bring it up. I think it's astounding enough to people that we have a different New Year that it usually just it's a little too much in depth for them usually. Any other questions? Yeah.
Presenting in 2 days at Christian Brothers.
Well,
They can talk about Rosh
yeah.
Hashanah. Yom Kippur is closed. That's up to them.
Yeah, it usually depends on how much time we have. This will be a little bit of a shorter presentation, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Sometimes we don't even have time to get to the most recent holiday section. Yes, yes. All right. So we wanted to thank you for inviting us to share with you today. We hope that one takeaway you have from our presentation is that whenever you encounter a Jewish person or any sort of person who's different from you, to be open and curious to learn about and understand them, and to remember that people cannot be reduced to a single story or a stereotype. Our differences are part of our shared human story, and that the empathy and understanding we cultivate for each other can be the next chapter in our story. Thank you again for letting us present, and we also have a QR code that we're going to share with you all to do a little survey about our presentation. All right. Do I have it in our folder or is it?
No. And my master. You guys did a fabulous job. I want to thank you very, very much. Do you guys have your phones? Grab your phones. Do this QR code real quick. And just kind of see the survey. Yes. I also sent them in advance to the teachers. I know exactly what you're saying.
They can post them on the group.
They can post them for the kids before, after the presentation. I just want these folks right here. Some of them have never seen what the survey is. Did everyone? Okay, thank you. Oh,
I've never seen what the survey looks like.
it's a new one. Every year it changes.
Thank you.
Anna, did you get it?
Yeah.
Thank
I'll have
you.
to fill it out.
No, you don't have to fill it out. I just want you. Vanessa, for this. Thank you. Question?
Yeah, so,
Elliot has a question.
yes. So for the Jewish life cycle in the Bar Mitzvah section, it
Could
says,
you just speak up a tiny bit, like here? Thanks. They're not hearing on the recording.
for the Bar Mitzvah section on the Jewish life cycle, it says, don't go into the details of your party, and I wanted to know why.
The reason that, the reason.
The Bradman works.
The reason that, I don't know, do you guys? The reason that we don't go into that is because we don't want to emphasize the party. We want to emphasize the religious significance of a bar or bat mitzvah. Good question. Does anybody else have any questions? I mean, that was a wonderful, Nessa and Daniel did a wonderful presentation, and I want to thank them. It's always nice to hear this from your peers instead of me standing up there and going blah, 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 blah. Okay, whatever. Okay, so I'm just. Thank you. My presentation. Okay. It's been an hour, just can we? Okay, does a 5-minute quick, and when you come back, Suzanne's going to start speaking about how to give an effective presentation. And then after she speaks, I will make a couple comments. We're actually doing really good on time. Okay, Suzanne. Does anyone need to? Okay, and grab food if you want. Yeah, the reason is, well, I know, I'm just saying. Okay, let me get my life back. Nessa, you're gonna be spicy for the presentation.
No, we're not really sure. My dad might drive me.
Mariam?
I'm about to you, right?
No, but I need you to take first. This is stuff.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. This I usually freeze and. I started with freeze. And then I'll take it out for the presentation.
Yeah.
Then the sticker on the bottom. Yeah, it says demo. It says demo. Yes, I need to keep.
Sorry. Candle water.
No.
And when you do your few minutes, Randy, tell them to, when they're doing a presentation, take it out and they, you know.
Yeah.
Take out the cord
Exactly.
and all that.
Okay, this one is mine. Yes.
But then she also and like said was point and it was like she's
Okay, it's pretty awful, but she's it won't be there, but she has her office message set. So every time I reply to an email, I get a message back saying, "Don't forget out of office service, email this account." When she had emailed me from that account 2 minutes ago.
Oh, while you guys are just sitting there, you could pass. This was the article that was written in the J, Jewish News of Northern California. Nessa was interviewed. Did you already see that? Okay, did you see this article? You'll pass that just so you can see.
Oh, is that an article?
Yeah, that's the article. And then it even went international.
Do you want me to email it?
Yeah, because they put it.
Yeah, if you want.
Israel Forensic Mary.
Do you have a code?
Presentation. And this is mine, this is. And then.
Daniels.
You haven't seen the version of this yet.
And this will be my Christopher. Okay, if we could all come back so Suzanne can get started. Absolutely. You don't need this. Mariam, I'm gonna put in second, your presentation outline and get someone to do that.
Okay.
It'll be right. Jennifer, do you want to do our photos here?
I have my folder, I'll bring my hair over.
No recording or. Whose are these? Daniels?
Yes.
I think everyone got a writing pencil and a piece of pink paper, is that correct? Alright. So take 30 seconds to wrap up your current conversations and then we'll begin. Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Suzanne Bradeck. As Randy mentioned earlier, I am Miriam Bradeck's mother. I work for CalPERS. It's a state agency here in town. And one of the things I do at work is teach people things. Sometimes I teach Excel, sometimes I teach creative thinking, and sometimes I teach presentation skills. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. And we're going to do it by way of what I call instructional origami. So if everyone can take their pink piece of paper and fold it into fours. What that will do for you is give you 4 times 2. We are going to dive in on the back side, whatever that side is for you. We're gonna dive right in, and I want you to talk to the person next to you, and I would like you to come up with 3 things that you think are part of an ideal presentation. It's gonna give us our why we're doing what we're doing. So go ahead, take 2 minutes with the people around you. Come up with ideas of what is an ideal presentation. Maybe it's something you've given, maybe it's something you recently attended, maybe it's all about what you don't like. What is an ideal presentation? Go ahead.
I'd say a good flow.
Eager to be heard.
Yeah, I agree. Just like something that's engaging, and like interactive.
One more minute. Given how quiet you are, I think you are ready to go. Who will volunteer first? One thing that makes an ideal presentation. I am not beyond Brian's. Ooh. I'm gonna pick on Miriam first, but not my Miriam.
Projecting, having good volume.
Speaking of volume.
Projecting, have a good volume. It was like you were a plant. I love it. Thank you so much. You get the privilege of picking the next person.
Oh. Okay. How is it? Yeah. Make it like engaging, don't make it like you're giving a lecture.
I love it. So we've got projection, we've got engaging. You get the privilege of picking the next person.
Few filler words like so.
Like, so yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. You know? And I'm going to encourage you to pick the person with the hand up right over here. Is it Zoe?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Having like a decent talking speed, not going too fast, not going too slow as to bore the people, but like finding that perfect middle of a talking speed.
I love it. You don't want to go too fast because maybe then people can't keep up with you. But then if you go too slowly, everyone might fall asleep. We don't want that either. So we've got to find some middle ground. Heard a lot of things. What I'd like you to do in your first top box, please make 2 circles and connect those circles as if you're making a barbell. What you're going to write in that first barbell is the word and then you're going to draw a line through it. What would that mean? Exactly, no ums, but represents a little bit more than just the word It represents those filler words, the like, so, yeah, you know. We want to try to avoid those. But you know what we want to invoke? The pause. Please make 2 vertical lines right next to each other. Look like a pause button. When you avoid the filler words or non-words and you invoke the pause, you get a stronger presentation. Think about what you said was an ideal presentation. We want to avoid filler words. We don't want to go too fast. We don't want to go too slow. We want to be engaging. All of those things are supported by your barbell. Avoiding filler words and engaging the pause gives you a stronger presentation. You can write that if you want. I'll give you a moment. So those are two key, really important things that we have for making our presentation stronger. But that's not all there is. Let's take a moment, speak to the person next to you. What else can you do to have a strong presentation? Take a minute with the person next to you. Until you do this for a living. Cheers. So what else makes a strong presentation? What'd your partner brainstorm? You don't have to say your own. Eye contact. I like it. What else?
Making people have conversations with the person next to them.
Making people have conversations. So giving them something to talk about, right? So we'll take that a little bit further. So that eye connection, right? Or connecting with your audience as well as helping them connect together. I like it. What else? How about this side of the room? What came up?
Like a good flow to your presentation.
Oh, so having a plan, right? When you have a plan, you have good flow, right? Let's think about the presentations you'll be giving. You have a plan, every one of them, right? They all have outlines, so that's great. So now we need to think about how we can connect with that audience, right? What are some ways you can connect with your audience?
Be relatable.
Be relatable?
Like be relatable, like with correct, like activities they do, maybe hobbies.
Okay. Relatable with connecting to the activities they do, connecting with maybe their hobbies, like you said, sports, and think about the presentations you'll be doing, right? There's the outline, and then there's the added stories that you might have to make things relatable, right? Yes.
You could also ask them questions, kind of like how you're doing right now, to get them engaged. Be like, how many of you guys have ever had chocolate ice cream before? And then that amount of people in the audience raises their hands. That's another way that you can like engage with the audience.
Absolutely. I love it. You were all asked a question. Could you hold up your Oreo when I kind of point to you for just a moment? The bag of it, the wrapper. So for example, it's how many of you have ever had kosher food? You had that question earlier. Some of you raised your hand, some of you didn't. And then you can follow it up with how many of you have ever had an Oreo before? Did you know they're kosher? Can you hold that up? Right here, you can see it on the bag. Did you know that kosher food is marked? And you can relate to your audience. Right? What I'd like you to do now is take your pen in the next block over here, make two circles that are next to each other and turn them into eyeballs. Yours are going to look better than mine. I'm not so great at eyeballs. This is where I embarrass my child because I am not an artist, right? But why did I draw these eyeballs? I wrote them because the whole point is engage your audience. You all already brought that up as what is an ideal presentation? What is another thing you can do? And that is to engage your audience. We can relate to them in ways. How else can you engage your audience? Can I do it without speaking?
Gesticulation.
Oh, that's a really big word. Let's bring it down. What does that mean?
Oh, am I supposed to tell you? Oh.
You can.
Using your hands to like add to something or like, it's doing this.
Exactly, right? Enhancing, using your body language to enhance your message. For example, let's go back in time. We were talking about things we could avoid and things we can do. We wanted to avoid our filler words and we wanted to engage our pause to make our presentation stronger, right? So just doing that added to the words of, oh, we want to make the presentation stronger, right? We talked about we want to use our voice, right? Not too fast, not too slow, not monotone, but not too crazy, right? We also want to use our hands to help us. We have props when we give our presentations. We saw earlier a lot of props were used. So we want to make sure we use those props and we keep forward facing to our audience. Because if we only have our props over here and I'm only facing this way, who am I excluding? We don't want to exclude anyone. We want to include everyone. That's why we're here. We want to get our message to everyone. And you know what? When you engage your audience is on your side. They're waiting to hear your message. They want to know what you have to share, and they're going to take that in. When they're engaged, they accept the message, they keep the message, they pass it along. Speaking of that, we're going to do a little introspection now. What I'd like you to do in your bottom corner, directly under those eyeballs for your audience, I would like you to number 3. 1, 2, 3. Give a little space in between because you're going to be writing things. We got our 3s. We're going to start at the bottom, right? Any of you bottom uppers ever read the last page of a book first? I love it, right? I read emails from the bottom up. Sometimes I miss the whole point of it, but at least I get the action item. We're going to start with number 3. And what I'd like you to do, this is just for you. You do not have to share this with anyone, but I would like you to think and then write down, why do you do STS? For example, if this was me, why am I here today? Why am I doing it? It could be, oh, I want another line on my resume. Oh, Rabbi said I had to do it. Right? Oh, I really want this experience because I've had anti-Semitism in my life and it really means something to me to share that with other people and help not just educate them, but also get them interested in why this is a problem, right? Whatever it means to you, please write that down on number 3. You about 30 seconds more on that. Gravity. Please reread your why. Anyone ever heard of someone who does a lot of TED Talks? Simon Sinek? One of the things that Simon Sinek teaches is that when you know your why, your what has more meaning. When you're not sure why you're getting up in the morning, you think about your purpose in this world. When you are unsure or you're feeling like, I don't know if I'm ready to do this STS presentation, I want you to go to your number 3. Your why is going to give you your meaning. It's why you want to do a good job. There it is. So now let's come up here in our 3rd box. We're going to draw a picture of what looks like a lock. I'm not an artist. And I like to write 3 words. Plan. Prepare. Present. Rather than think, oh, next week I have a presentation, I'll get to it. And then the time comes for the presentation and you're getting all your stuff ready and you go there and you go, oh, I have a presentation. Where are my notes? I want you to plan. When are you going to have time to read about it? When are you going to have time to practice? When are you going to have time to make your new outline? When are you going to have time to think about how you're going to invoke gesticulations to support your words? Plan how you will incorporate your props and how you will use them. Practice with your partner. Engage with your partner, whether it's over the phone or in person. Have a plan for everything you're going to do. The more prepared you are, the better your practice will be, and it will give you that ideal presentation that you are looking for. You can do this. Remember, we wrote 1, 2, and 3? Number 1, this is just for you. You don't have to share. I would like you to write down what is your most important academic achievement. Now, number 2, what are you most proud of in this world? What are you most proud of in this world? Number 3 is your why. Numbers 1 and 2 show you that you've already done great things. So when you're feeling that you may not be enough for this presentation, that you may not be ready for this presentation, I want you to know that you are. You are absolutely ready, and you're going to be amazing. So you're going to take these notes, you're going to say, you know what? I'm going to reduce my non-words, and I'm going to use that pause. And doing so is going to give me a stronger presentation. And you know what? I'm really going to think about my audience, because I know they're on my side when I include them. I'm going to include them with the way I have my eye contact. I'm going to include them with the way that I use my hands and my body and the props that I show. And you know what? I'm going to make sure I have time to lock in. I'm going to plan. I'm going to prepare, which is going to give me a wonderful presentation when it's my time. These things are going to get you through. And I know that when you have presentations, we often have butterflies. But you know what? As Zig Ziglar, who was a great speaker, once said, may all your butterflies fly in formation. Thank you for your time. Keep these papers. I encourage you on the back side to have at least 4 presentations I think everyone has. Use each block to state a goal that you want and revisit it afterward for how well you did. Have a great day. And maybe pass around a lollies.
Thank you so very much. I am so happy that you were able to come and share how to do an amazing presentation, which I know you all are going to do. Okay, I need to add just a few comments being specific to our needs. If I'm reiterating, forgive me. But when speaking about conservative, orthodox, and reform, please refer to them as branches, not sects. Because what did you just hear what I said? Did anyone hear that? So what happened in a presentation is a student said, why are they talking about sex? Really? That's one reason. But the other reason is it denotes a fringe group. So I think I've made my point. You know, to have an active presentation, as you saw, Nessa and Daniel did a fabulous job. Thank you so very much. I do want somebody, when they do I know, you know what I'm saying. When you do the bar and bat mitzvah portion, whoever does that part, if you would please chant from your bar or bat mitzvah a portion of your Torah reading, or you can do the Vayhafta, the part of Shema. Okay? They listen and they just go, like their eyes get big. It's really interesting. You'll see, it's fascinating. If you have tefillin, we already talked about that. We may not have time, but you can put it on. We did light the Shabbat candles. We will ask for permission. We will say the motzi over the challah, but let's try to remember to translate that, because whatever you're saying means zero to them. Okay? Remember, and we're always trying to remind each other to write your Hebrew names on the board. They think it's very interesting and it looks very odd to them. Now, blowing the shofar, we have done it in the beginning. It's kind of like, wake up, here we come. Or because Tuesday, it is going to be Rosh Hashanah that we'll be talking about, and Yom Kippur if you have time. So we'll probably include that in the last part of the presentation. But shofar, beginning of the presentation otherwise. Who blows shofar here? Did we already ask? 1, 2. Rowie, don't you? 3? Yeah, you did it. Okay, great. Reminding you to ask who's eaten kosher food, who's been to bar bat mitzvah. I have to say these things. You need to hear it at least 5 times for you to, like, it goes in. So yes, Randy, you're like, I've heard this already. I know. Am I on number 5 yet? Translate the terms. We say kippah. What would you say? Head covering. They're not Jewish. They have no idea what you're saying. So you can say kippah, a head covering, and then the next time you refer to it, you can say kippah or yarmulke, whichever you prefer. That's fine. But we need to translate things. We will always bring props, so I don't need to really perseverate on that. Please, when you are assigned or you choose to do your section, do not forget your props. Please don't forget your props. Again, make the presentation personal. Be sure to bring your outline. Please practice. Yes, some students have gotten up there. It's extremely uncomfortable if you don't practice at all. I've watched. Please practice. Please. Do not chew gum during a presentation. Don't even have it in your mouth. Don't even be tempted. It doesn't look nice at all. Okay. Women, please don't wear plunging necklines and skirts up to your crotch. Please don't come in ripped clothes. But please wear, hopefully what you normally wear to school is not a problem. But we need to be respectful. So keep that in mind when getting dressed in the morning, because You are representing student to student. All righty. You'll be yourself. As Suzanne said, it's okay to be nervous, but you guys can do this. Practice, practice, practice. Be confident. I won't perseverate. A few other things. Be enthusiastic. Encourage questions. Use English translations. These presentation strategies are all in your folders, but I highlighted a few just to remind you. Please don't read from your notes. Nothing makes for a more boring presentation. When referring, oh, I already talked about that. I won't repeat that. What else did I highlight? I've already said this. Don't lecture. Don't speak for other people in your group. These are the don'ts. Don't make generalizations about Judaism. Try to be specific to the topic that you're referring to. Try not to get into heavy theological discussions. It's not going to go really well. And what else did I say? Don't chew gum. Yeah, that's my pet peeve, I know. Okay. The process, the logistics. We will have 3 to 4 per group. We have 14 of you wonderful students. This is a community service and may fulfill community service hours at your schools. Daniel, wasn't that you that asked me last year? Community service? There was, yeah. So keep that in mind. This might fill more than your resume, more than your heart, your soul, and community service. Okay? Just to put that in your brain. That includes transport, how much time to transport, coming to orientation, transporting home, prepping on the Zoom. Oh, prepping on the Zoom. Before each presentation, we will get together on Zoom. We will talk about what you will be presenting. No, I don't pick. You all pick what you want to talk about. Okay? So be thinking, what's really meaningful to me? I know. Certain people have certain things that it's very meaningful to them. So you want to be thinking about that. Now, when we receive a presentation possibility, which we have been very blessed this year, I think we're up to 14 and still going. This has not happened in Sacramento. Yes, we've been very busy. So I think it's going to be a really good year. When you receive a message from your leader, that would be Nessa, Ross, and unfortunately, Emily had a family emergency and had to leave town, but she's another group leader. I know you've already heard from your group leaders, so you know. Please get back to them as soon as possible. We need to get things lined up. We tell you about 2 weeks before presentations. Can I ask you all something? Is 2 weeks enough time? Do you want 3 weeks before a presentation? I mean, I have all the dates right now, but give me an idea. How much time do you all want? It's our group. Doesn't matter what they do in St. Louis and everywhere else. What do you want? Don't all speak at once. Thank you.
4 weeks.
See, I'm with him. We're going to change that. We're going to do 3 to 4 weeks. Okay? Does everyone have your permission forms in? Yes, 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 yes. Thank you. Please check. Can't do a presentation without all those permission forms. They take 2 seconds. It's digital. Hit on the link. Done. Okay? Please. Thank you. Now, here's the deal. We do like to go in groups of 3 or 4. It's not uncommon the night before someone gets sick or 2 days before or, oh, Randy, I'm so sorry, I forgot, blah, 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 blah. So I will need some people who might want to step in, even if it's not your group, like you're subbing. Okay? Is there anybody that's like, no, I'm only going to be with my group. I'm not going to be with anybody else? Nobody here's like that, right? We all want to work together. Oh, I love it. Is that called kumbaya or something? Okay. Now what's next? Oh, we are doing very well. Do you guys want to hear when our presentations are? Cool. Okay. So our first presentation, which is amazing and wonderful already, is Christian Brothers this Tuesday. That's going to be Nessa, Miriam. See, I already mixed the groups up because people couldn't come, and you know, that's what happens. Lucas. Oh gosh. Isaac. Okay. Thank you. Sorry. There's a lot to remember, so please. Okay, then the next one that we have Thursday, October 16th in Granite Bay. They want, oh, by the way, at Christian Brothers, 1 presentation. Granite Bay's 3 presentations. So that's a Thursday. Was that Ross? Did you tell me you're off on Thursdays? Thank you. Yeah, well, at least I remembered one day. That's a good thing. Yes. Thursday, does that say October 16th on Thursday? This is from memory. That can be a little bit scary. Google Drive. Oh, come on. Okay, well, I'll just try to keep remembering. Then we go to Wednesday, October 29th. Today. October 29th is Jesuit, and we will have 3 presentations in Jesuit. We don't have November anything yet. That can always change in a skinny second. December, we don't have it established, but they wanted us out and Davis at King High School again. I told him we need to be mindful of, I call them holiday breaks, probably because I'm Jewish. I don't say Christmas breaks, but winter breaks. Can I just have, are most of you like on break the second half of the month? Would that be? Yes, yes. Henry's thinking. Oh, I have a question. Wait, before I go to that. Oh, no, finish. Who, is that right? Good. Now I don't have to look up all these schools. Thanks a million. So I'm going to tell them it has to be the first 2 weeks of December. Very good. Thank you. Henry, remind me to, I'm going to do it now. Sometimes people don't like to present at their school. You need to make sure you tell me when we go to Jesuit, Rio, nobody's Christian Brothers, Granite Bay. You getting my drift? You don't have to say it in front of everyone, but you do need to tell me. Send me a text or an email and say, Randy, I do not want a presentation at my school. Otherwise, it's just the luck of the draw. Okay? Or tell me, Randy, I really want to present at my school. I'll make sure you do. Okay? Good. Okay, we're on to January. Oh, now we're really pushing it. We don't have January. We have February. I wish my Google Drive opened, but it didn't. Wait, maybe I took a picture. Oh, I did take a picture. Okay, Rio is the last week in February for 2 presentations. Yeah, she just said the last week in February right now. I'm sorry, because that's a little far out, but at least we got there. Isn't that good? Then in March,
we have 5 presentations. Yeah, where's that going to be? St. Francis. Pretty cool, huh? So we don't have all the dates yet, but that gives you an idea of where we're headed, which I think is wonderful. Don't want to use that word. Woof. Ding. Pause. Wasn't that cute? Because I'm thinking. I know. Any of the schools that you all go to, I've sent a letter to El Camino. I'd love Intercom, if you have someone for me. Help me out, Lucas. Lucas Intercom. Davis? We're working on that. It's been a year and a half and we're still working on it. As Folsom High, Vista, Davis and Folsom have been tough. School, Granite Bay, Rio, Jesuit. I tried Oakmont the very first year. Woo. Bless your hearts. Because the last one was very difficult. I'm going to tell you something about the principals. They are not the gateway for us. That we don't get in through principals. We get in through English teachers and history teachers. English teachers teaching Night or The Book Thief, or history teachers teaching the Holocaust. So if you can come up with someone, please. So can you get me a teacher's couple and emails? Just send them my way. Everyone here has my email, right? You can text, email. God forbid anyone in this room would ever call me. I know that doesn't happen. That's okay. I'm used to that. Everyone has my phone number and my email, right? Yeah, put it in that phone. Yeah. Okay, great. Let's see, that was Zoe and Miriam, that's one, but which Granite Bay also. El Camino I sent. Elliot, would it be appropriate at your school or? Okay. Oh, and we have another school. When you said small, you reminded me, we are going to Cordova High. We did last year, but we don't have a date. Just to let you know that they're interested in having us come back. It's pretty good, huh, you guys? We have had, okay, that'd be great. And Nessa goes to McClatchy, and we'll put that in the list with Folsom, Vista, and Davis. We will keep trying. One thing you'll know, you guys, I'm pretty stubborn. I don't give up. We need to get in these schools, and the ones that are harder to get in, we probably need to get in them even more. Any questions on presentations? Yes, Henry. I think we did 12 last year. I mean, we're already at 14 and we just started. You mean individually? You know, I don't make anybody do anything. Really, I don't. You're in this because you want to make a difference. It could be 4, it could be 3, it could be 2 a semester, right? I understand your schedules are heavy, loaded. I get it. I'm grateful that you're all here. I really am. I'm very, very appreciative. So to answer your question, I hope you at least do a couple. It'd be lovely if you could do 3 or 4. Miriam, do you remember how many you did last year? Right, because she wanted to. So, Lucas? Excellent question. Thank you so much. What we've done in the past is not have you do more than 2 presentations. Your brain just kind of goes, God, really? Like it's hard to stay enthusiastic for 3 presentations. That's my feeling. If you beg to differ with me, you are most welcome to disagree. Hannah's going, yeah, 2 was enough. Anybody else have an opinion? Nessa, 2 was enough. So we're on the same page. So what does that mean? We bring in one group to do 2 and another group to do another. You may have one adult with you. It could be Sharon. It could be myself, Melissa, Karen. In fact, Harriet from Davis, she'll be at the Jesuit presentation. Jesuit Christian Brothers. So especially like when we have 5, we'll have 3 and a 2 and the back to back or not. Randy, I'm sorry, I really can't do that much. Okay. You're not graded. This is volunteer. Like, oh yeah, I'm a volunteer too. We do it because we love it. We do it because we're passionate. Sounds like our whys, huh? Exactly. Okay. Any other questions? Please ask. I think we're ready for difficult questions now, challenging questions. Right, Rabbi? He's like, So, Rabbi, we're going to do the challenging questions portion now. And when we finish that, we're going to go into the small groups. Everybody knows their small group. Yeah, they're going to kind of change, Zoe. No problem. Okay, lovely. Rabbi, hold that thought 1 second. So Ross has Hannah, Roe, and Kayla. Got it? Nessa, your group is changing. I know. But you and Isaac for sure are together. And I think it's going to be Miriam and Henry today. We're going to figure out how to move forward. And then we had, oh no, wait. Yeah, that's Miriam and right. And then the other group is Miriam, Elliot, Lucas, and Zoe. Now, let me just explain something. And then I promise you're on. We're supposed to have seniors be your group leaders. Seniors who have been in the process, who have done this. But we didn't have enough seniors to go around that were able to make that commitment, which is fine. No judgments. But we kind of need a sort of a leader in that one group. So Miriam has done a ton of presentations. I don't want to put her on the spot, and I can be with that group and work that group. Yeah. Miriam Frank and Henry Sperber are going to be with Nessa and Isaac today because 2 of one group and 2 of the other group are not here. So that was a natural fusion. You're Miriam Brabeck, Elliot, Lucas, and Zoe. Can I be really honest? I'm trying really hard to give you groups. You know what's going to happen? You guys will be all over the place. Because Henry's going to go, Randy, I've got a sport thing, and Elliot's got a drama, something, right? A show, or, I don't know. But we'll try it today, okay? So let's, Rabbi, do the difficult questions, and we'll get into our small groups after Rabbi. All yours.
I heard some of them before. So.
Well, we can skip on this session on challenging questions.
Okay.
You want this, please?
Oh, I think I got here. Oh, you're fine. Okay. So I heard some of these questions before. but let's whoops, as my document wanders all over the place. Okay. Just take your own thoughts for a minute. Don't be, concerned. Someone asks you about your opinion on Israel. Now we know the rules that we've discussed already. What's the first thing comes to mind? Go ahead. It's complicated. Very complicated. That's as simple. That's as simple and as true as it gets. It's complicated. Anybody else? I'm not going to bite. It's okay. What do you feel comfortable saying? Never mind, getting into anything about Gaza and all that other fun stuff. What do you feel comfortable saying? Yes. What they think they already know. Let's be honest with ourselves. Anybody who's only been exposed to the American media knows what they think they know. And that's part of the problem. That is part of the problem. Part of the problem, by the way, that we cannot solve in a 40-minute presentation, which is another reason why not to be, very careful where we go. But what do you feel comfortable saying? Just pretend, never mind you're in a presentation with student to student. Pretend you're in a group of friends, people that you're not worried about pushback, depending on what you say. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anybody else? Okay. Yeah. Can't stop myself from getting phone calls. Okay. Now, back to my document. All righty then. What is Zionism? Somebody asks you that question. What comes to mind? Yeah. Okay. And Zionism is a movement that started when? Depends on how you define Zionism. If we talk about 1948 being the birth of the modern state of Israel, yeah, it's relatively recent. If you talk about the fact that a Jewish homeland, which is thousands of years old, Zionism is conceivably much older than that. And it all depends on whose version of Zionism you're talking about. Theodor Herzl's is obviously very recent, but other Zionistic movements can be looked at as much older. We could even talk about the return to build the Second Temple, which is 2,500 years ago, as a Zionist movement, because the Jewish people had been removed from their homeland, and this was a want to return. Okay, let's see. Would you say that Israel is a colonialist country? Defend your answer. Yes. Well, if I want to play devil's advocate, isn't that exactly what's going on today in Gaza? I'm sure there's somebody that you're going to come across somewhere down the line going to tell you, isn't that exactly what they're trying to do in Gaza? And by the way, there are some in the Israeli government who might say that's true. And so back to your, it's complicated. It's complicated. Sorry? Israel has really never tried to colonize anything other, well, Israel hasn't tried to make colonies out of other lands. One of the things I remember I was asked once by a student, tell me something about Israel that's going to shock me. And I said, well, after thinking a little bit, Israel is about the only country I can think of that has been forced politically to redo something that was accomplished militarily. Think about all the conversation about going back to pre-67 borders. 1967 was something called the Six-Day War. Battle was fought, battle was won, battle was lost. And all of a sudden, the world wants to make it as if that 6 days didn't happen. So it gets very complicated because, again, if your public is only reading what the rest of the world is reading, there's a lot of misconception as to what Israel is and what Israel's done in the last 50 years plus since 1967. Has Israel committed genocide?
I'd say no, because it's not a plan. Like, people are getting killed because of war, but Israel's not thinking, how can we like end the Palestinian people? They're trying to fight a war.
How do you defend an accusation, which is out there, that Israel bombed a hospital?
I'd say the media I was reading said that the hospital was a disguise for like a military thing, which was under the hospital. And so how would ask them, how do you think Israel should have gone about that if the military headquarters is underneath the hospital?
I'm going to share with you a piece of information that I didn't know until I was talking to my oldest nephew. My oldest nephew is a lieutenant colonel in the United States Air Force. And he shared with me that when you place a hospital over a weapons cache, your hospital no longer has the military classification of a hospital, but now has the military classification of a military base, and therefore is entitled to be treated as such in an act of war. People don't understand that. And as I said, I'd never heard that until I was talking to Lieutenant Colonel Goebel. And that was one that even, shocked me a little bit. Because people will say, but what about your patients in the hospital? Talk to the people that put the weapons under the hospital. It's really not about the hospital. Unfortunately, the conception is very, word that comes to mind is warped as to the way that sides here are going about things, because the Israelis would never do that. The Israelis would never do that. And this is a deliberate action to gain the reaction from the world that's exactly what they're getting, which makes it hard. All right. There's another one, by the way, about a missile that was fired at a hospital. People aware of this one? Israel fired a missile at a hospital. This was reported for a while until it was realized that that missile was actually fired by Islamic Jihad and was supposed to have hit Israel. It missed horribly. But the Israelis got blamed for it, at least at the beginning. All right. Moving on. Really? Sloan doesn't want to question? Yes. Yeah.
I also, wasn't there a idea that's circulating, and I think it's still circulating, that Israelis using, that they're making up the fact that Hamas has bunkers under the hospitals so that they can bomb the hospitals. I heard that for, quite a while ago.
Oh boy. I think the amount of tunnels that have already been uncovered speak to the, call it the strategy of Hamas. I mean, let's start with the easiest thing we can start with, which is Hamas is a recognized terrorist organization by our own government, the United States of America. That being said, the fact that they're being called a terrorist organization presumes certain things about their actions, which also presume that they don't play well in the sandbox, so to speak. They're not fighting a war in the way that the United States or Canada or Israel or somebody else would fight a war. They're a terrorist organization. That's the way terrorists operate. So we have to acknowledge that, yes, they are the elected government of Gaza, but they are also a terrorist organization. That's an interesting problem in and of itself. Okay. Whoops. Go ahead. Oh, I went all the way to, okay. Nope. No, I see where we are now. Does being critical of Israel make someone anti-Semitic? Why not?
Like the actions of the government hasn't, where they put it together, and they like the way that anti-Semitism comes in is when people start to like conflate Jews and the Israeli government together, and that's how they start to be like, oh well, you know, just criticizing Israel isn't it, but it's the conflation that's separate.
Very well done. I have someone that, well, when I knew this person well, he was part of the administration at Yeshiva University when I was attending. These days, I'm quite close with his son, who is an Orthodox rabbi in Cleveland. We've known each other for decades. Anyway, the father, who is a recent Ola, so he's recent now to Israeli society, had a letter that he penned talking about, in reference to things like humanitarian aid for the Gazans, that we as a Jewish people have to do better. And because of its position and because of its position, it was much more supported by the left side of Orthodoxy than the right. When I think the headline read something like 80 Orthodox rabbis signed this letter and so forth. And poor Rabbi Blau faced a lot of criticism. Rabbi Blau makes a lot of very good points. It just happens that the right wing of Orthodoxy isn't interested in necessarily associating itself with that side of the story. That's a problem in the Orthodox movement, by the way. We have our own dichotomy, continuum, whatever you want to call it, as to how right wing we are on many different issues, but this one's certainly the capital of the bunch. And so, yeah.
I just wanted to add on to what Miriam had said about that as well. I think that to love something, you have to criticize it and you have to want it to be better. And I've heard this about like being patriotic and loving like the United States government as well, and the country of the United States. I think to have something, to truly love something, instead of just like, if you like it, you're like, oh, like I like it, it's good. But if you love something, I think you have to want it to be its best self, whether that's a person or a country.
Well done. I mean, we criticize our own country all the time. Absolutely. Absolutely. First, before I ask the next question, I want to compliment Nessa for how she handled it in the presentation. How do you sensitively handle questions about Jesus? What do you say that's not going to inflame a Christian who hears it? Yeah. Yeah. I'm not hearing. Yeah.
I guess just be matter of fact about it. Like the difference is this: we don't believe Jesus as the Messiah. What we believe is that he could have existed, so on and so forth. Just don't try and cushion it. It's just a
Right.
difference in belief.
Right. Very good. Very good. Okay. Anybody else wanna?
Thank you, exactly. Everyone has an answer? Can we hear some of your other answers on the left side over there? Okay.
I think that how I would go about answering that question is just probably a little bit more empathetic and just be like, me personally, I do believe Jesus is has context biblically speaking. He's relevant. However, Judaism stems off from Christianity and from the First Testament moving towards the Second Testament, in the sense that again, we don't see that Jesus was necessarily the Son of God. We follow God's word directly.
Okay.
Like the question of
Yeah.
Jesus. I am a little bit, but I always say that I'm like, I do not care if anyone is like believes in Jesus or not. Like it doesn't affect me at all. It's usually something like that.
They don't say, but why don't you?
They don't usually say something like that, but I would say like what both them. I would say what both them say, that it's like, it's just what I was raised on, and it's not anything wrong, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So again, I want to compliment our presenters for their address to this question. What's the best way to answer questions about interfaith dating? Is there a best way to answer questions about interfaith dating? Yeah.
Yeah, it works. I feel like the best way is to kind of go about it how our presenters did and say that there's not
inherently anything that specifies you must marry a Jewish person. However, if you take a look back in the past, there are histories of Jewish people typically only marrying other Jewish people, which could be because of anti-Semitism and prejudice against other Jewish people. But there's nothing inherently wrong with dating somebody who isn't Jewish, and it's all based on personal preference. I
Okay.
feel like is a way that that question could be answered.
Yeah.
I would say the same thing about personal preference, but I have a lot of experience with this because my family is barely, like, genetically barely Jewish. Like, out of my 4 grandparents, one is Jewish. And my dad was raised Catholic. So, like, I could talk from what I have personal experience from them too, because they, like, it was all their personal choice, but and then it was their personal choice to date and get married, but it was also their choice to raise Jewish kids.
Nessa?
And I can also elaborate a little bit on what I said during the presentation as well. My family is also interfaith. My mom was raised Catholic, but now she's incredibly involved in the Jewish community. And my dad decided, after he came back from Israel when had just graduated college, he wasn't going to date a non-Jewish woman. He wanted to make sure his kids would be raised Jewish. That was really important to him. And then instantly he met my mom, and the only reason he dated her was because he knew that she would be willing to have her kids raised Jewish.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay. So in the last couple years, I'm seeing students who've been asked more and more about the afterlife.
Did we have how to answer that question very well? I think we had one at Granite Bay, didn't we? Trisha was okay, good, sorry.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
So you said you repeat what you just said, Nessa, please.
I didn't feel like I had a really good answer.
Anybody think they do?
I don't know if this is like the perfect answer, but I think what I just believe is that Jewish people believe in making like heaven on earth or making the world a better place, and we're not as focused on trying to get into like heaven or get out of hell in the afterlife. We're just more focused on trying to make the world a better place now and make the world better.
Everything you said is absolutely true. And I'm going to quote Ethics of the Fathers when it says, 1 hour of good deeds on this earth is better than an entirety in the afterlife. Now, having said that, there is such a thing as the afterlife. And while it's not exactly what the Christians will talk about, there's no such thing as eternal damnation, for example. There is an idea of, through all those actions that you just mentioned that are absolutely correct, that we gain something called a better afterlife, whatever that means. And I say whatever that means because we have yet to meet the person who's been there and come back and told us what it looks like. So we just don't know. Any of this is all about faith and belief. But there is definitely a belief that by doing things well on this earth to all the ways and means that you just talked about, that we can gain a better afterlife. There is something to be said for that. Anybody questions, comments? Okay, onward.
Does everyone feel like they have an answer that they'll be comfortable now at schools to answer that question? Okay, great.
Oh,
Yeah.
we've really had this one?
They have to deal with it.
Okay.
Yes.
If there's no concern about the afterlife. Oh, I am. No. Oh, I'm on 5A. There's a 5A.
No.
Fine. Okay, that's fine. What are stereotypes? What effect do they have on those who stereotype? And for that matter, probably more in our case, those who are being stereotyped.
Yeah, it's probably in the anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
Stereotypes in general towards a group of people can be very harmful. Stereotypes are not just exclusive for the Jewish people. It goes for the same of saying something stereotypical and harmful, like all Jews only want money, is the same as a stereotype for maybe like Christians or Catholic. I cannot think of one off the top of my head, but it's the same harmful effect.
You don't have to stick with religious groups, by the way.
Yeah. Well, I was just sticking with religious groups because that's what we're talking about.
I appreciate.
But it's the same type of thing, that stereotypes are a harmful thing to any group of people, not just one selective group. Any stereotype is mostly bad.
Anytime you use the word all or none, you risk getting yourself into a lot of trouble.
It's very important not to bring up specific stereotypes during your presentations. We're going to discuss them if we're asked, but your job during a presentation is to dispel stereotypes, not introduce them.
Which is
Like the money, the nose, the whatever, the you have blue eyes, whatever, any of this.
that's question 7. So yeah, question 7 is all about dispelling stereotypes. And just looking at this group, yeah, who looks Jewish in this group? I mean, look at us. We all have different, very varied looks to ourselves: hair color, eye color, style. There's, I can't put 2 of us together that look alike. Of course, I have my daughter in the room, but you know, some Jews are rich, some Jews aren't. Some Jews are cheap, some Jews aren't. Some Jews are educated, some Jews aren't. Yes. Yeah.
I was wondering, this might be more of a question for Randy, but are we going to be talking about the different kinds of Judaism? How there's Ashkenazi Jews and then.
You know, that's a really good question, and that's never been put in, but I can bring that to St. Louis and ask them, why not?
Okay.
Maybe we just, I mean, there's so much already in the presentation, clearly. However, if we think it's important, then, you know, maybe it is.
Yeah, wait. So I think it'd be good to add in the branches of Judaism, because I know like a lot of like different, like there's cultural things that are different between Ashkenazi, Sephardic, like Mizrahi, etc. And I kind of think it's pretty important, because even though like even within like Reform, even within conservative, and even especially within Orthodox, our practices are very different, just depending on like Ashkenazi and like.
So you are going to always do that introduction as a group leader, by the way. So you might want to kind of start writing out a little something, and maybe we can have a conversation about that, and maybe we can share it with the rest, and that can be added in. Maybe not take it to St. Louis, just kind of, you know, add it in.
Mhm.
Thank you. That's good. Miriam?
I can tell you how I added in last year was I had pictures from when my parents visited Israel, and then I had pictures of our Torahs from the Ark at Mosaic Law. And I brought up Ashkenazi and Sephardi Judaism through that, because we have an Ashkenazi Torah and we have a Sephardi Torah. So that's how I brought it up last year. So if you guys have pictures that you took, or that like your family took, that's how you can tie it in.
I was just going to add on to the point that Ross was making that because Judaism is an ethno religion, I could see it coming up in a question where, like, somebody would be like, especially pertaining to Israel, somebody being like, well, you know, like an Ashkenazi person from like New York clearly doesn't have ties to the land of Israel, at least not like genetically. So I think that it would be important to talk about that, even if there's like theological discussions going into that, because again, it is an ethno religion.
And you'll see when you get into doing these presentations, you'll be like, whoa, we're done? Where did our time go? So there's a lot, but I agree with you. If we can at least insert something, that would be a great idea.
Along that line, one of the things I love to talk about myself is that since the Roman dispersion, which is 2,000 years ago, Jews have lived just about everywhere. And as a result, you know, what is Judaism has a lot of different answers because just because of being in different places, you know, we've gained a whole lot of other cultural, call it idiosyncrasies about our Judaism. And that's just, you know, the individualism of who we are. So, you know, Jews whose families originate, let's say, you know, 200 years ago from Poland versus the same, you know, 200 years ago from Morocco, very different group of people. And by the way, the fact that they, you know, migrated to Israel now and Israel becomes this melting pot of Judaism. What's an Israeli Jew? Well, careful how you answer that one. Because we've reached a point in time where for the first time in 2,500 years, the majority of the Jews live in Israel. Only took 2,500 years. Okay. Ever heard the word Jew used as anything other than a noun? No? Nobody? Okay, somebody say something. Okay. That's impressive. That's impressive.
I've heard some people use it like as a derogatory word, like you like dirty Jew or like greedy Jew, just like as a derogatory word.
That's what I was looking for. Okay. Is everybody comfortable? I mean, this group is kind of a safe place. Is everybody comfortable sharing their own experiences with anti-Semitism? Okay, and that's fair. I mean, as long as you have one in the group, that's all you need. Okay. How do you handle Jewish jokes? Yeah.
I think a big part of it is obviously like making jokes about ourselves at our own expense is like sometimes it can be funny, but I think that the problem comes in when a joke is made in front of people in a way that feels like it's giving them permission to continue to make jokes like that. Like, you know, obviously stuff that's plays into stereotypes is not good. But like if you can't make jokes at your own expense, two people who are like, if I make a Jewish person making a joke to another Jewish person, but if there's a person there who's not Jewish, who doesn't understand the nuance of it, and who thinks that because I'm making this joke, that means they can now make the joke as well, that's when I think it becomes a problem.
I feel like there's a lot of Jewish jokes that are directed towards me, and I really don't like mind them because most of them are, I know that they aren't like aimed to like be anti-Semitic towards me, I guess. They're not like they're meant to not be harmful, but I think they can lead to harmful things. You know what I mean? And when I feel like it starts to like lead to worse than just a joke, like, because I feel like jokes are things that like start something worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear.
But
I hear.
I don't like particularly mind them very often.
I hear you. Just yeah.
Yeah, I kind of want to add on to both what Nessa and Henry said. I agree with both of them. However, where I differentiate a little bit is I will, if somebody's making a joke that starts to seem a little bit iffy and like it's going to lead in the wrong direction, I will shut it down because it will lead for further anti-Semitism and further like harmful things being said that harm our community. So I do think like making jokes with another Jew at the expense of Judaism, like another Jewish person, is fine. But when you get to that point where it's other people who aren't Jewish and, you know, maybe have like met one Jewish person or have a Jewish friend, and then they start making those jokes, and you can kind of tell it's they mean it in a rude manner, it's best to shut them down before they get too out of hand and be like, hey, that's not an okay thing to say at all. It wouldn't be nice if somebody, you know, said something like that about you. Let's not do that.
Not that I didn't know this before I came here. This is a wonderful group of people. And I mean, I'm going to say this. You've done good. But your parents, some of whom I know, have all done wonderfully because you really have a solid background, a solid base for who you are. And that's going to carry you a long way in your lifetime, far past student to student. And it's going to give you the strength to do what this assignment is all about. And I know you guys are going to do great. I know you guys are going to, in some cases, open a lot of eyes, or at least expand people's viewpoints and understandings of who we are and what we represent. And as Khan is part of the group, everybody has access to me whenever you need it. And just know that. Well, that goes without saying for you, but you know, everybody's got access to my information. Please don't.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much for coming to support us, for having supported us, and to continue to support us. Okay, ready for our small groups? We're doing good. Okay, so we're splitting like, you're changing chairs a little bit. Where's Ross? So, when Nessa's sitting, well, Nessa moved to one of the other side. So Ross, Hannah, Rowie, and Kayla. Over here, please. Nessa, where are you moving to? Okay, let's see. Miriam Frank is, you're moving with Miriam. Miriam Frank. Well, actually, both Miriams. For this, oh, no, you're not. Henry, you're staying where you, yeah, just switch with, where's Zoe going? Zoe's going over here. Marion Braybeck over here, Elliot over here, and Lucas is already there. Yeah, hang on. That's where we're just trying to figure this out. Now, with the presentation, wow, how are we going to do this? I know. So it's 1, 2. We should really get to that so you all don't have to stay longer. Except I like that dynamic over there. Just start. We'll figure it out. I promise we're going to figure this out. You have the papers? No, I gave the paper. You guys are fine. Miriam, did I give you a paper?
Oh, cool. Is that okay that you're, are you good? I know.
I go to junior at different places. And you guys sort of say, is that she bell? Is that?
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Oh, in Grant.
Okay, so, and that's just. I'm Kayla, I'm a senior, I'm a senior, and I'm from Columbia.
You don't need a nice grace, you already did all. Right?
What's we're discussing, I'm Henry, I'm a junior at Jesuit. I think that like it gets so like yeah, so like we go over that like I'm sorry, yeah, that I mean that's like
So like ever since I got my but at my school recently, they had a long round of classrooms because there were crazy stuff. So if you that was so
I feel like there's no way.
From I also had like a big experience with like that. Really like August and some people. The only thing I can think of is like I'm very proud of my work ethic, really just how hard I work. And people often take that away and like that, oh, you know, do you have money from school? So that was the only incident where like someone say something like that, but I've never personally been.
I feel like okay, I know
Thanks so much.
but I like yes. I just took all my so I went to Israel. Oh, yes, thank you. Paris, and it was really super. So it's like really fun. Well, like, oh, I don't think I did have it here. Much fun. Like we did like I don't know the state, but my grandma made napkins with my face on it. That was really embarrassing. I was making fun of dinner. So yeah. Do you know color there's like a program, but then we went with but this part of it is like oh, what's the word? I go into oh, there you go. So you're like on the mountain, I was like, yeah, it's important. Looking like the
Yeah.
and then what would be your favorite questions? So we can look at the presentation outline. Is there any like section that you guys remember that you wanted to?
Musical?
Is there any
Whatever.
Is there something? I think so. There's also
Yeah, I think you're speaking.
And you guys are just like.
I'm really good with whatever. I feel like I probably have like, there's more I could say about anti-Semitism and the Holocaust, like my comments. So I feel like for sure I can take care of that one. Every other one I could also do.
Is Caleb?
It's Caleb with a K, K-A-Y-L.
We're just gonna look at this. Oh yeah, I actually been thinking about.
You said meeting right before we did the mission.
So like, and then, yeah, so if I was implementing or oh, I just like my sister.
Like I know my Bob is spelled like way off. I'm like not like the quickest. Like I need to like you and take for me.
I leave it on bed.
Yeah, same. I remember just like maybe the first. You didn't know.
No, possible.
It's not extreme.
Yeah.
That's what.
And then can it also be is your time? Yeah.
Because
Wait, so there's
and then after next week. Yeah. So
I would say first and I would write now.
And then.
And then okay, so how many can we each do as individuals? There's 7 in total.
So each of us could do yeah. Okay, so like for the ones that like you already did, I did like
Yeah, I agree.
and then you switch it.
What you
So
what
reading was the first part.
And
I would think girls think about how to be that. I would like know what's gonna ask questions or I feel like what I think other than my school, like but I think like people like over something is that I like that would be super It really, I feel like I want to, because like also like, I did this speech, so like, and I'm like.
so I think it's good that we have at least like one that we know, like, okay, we're gonna, or this person is gonna.
So.
But I think you're right, we should have that maybe. Like,
yeah,
if everyone's comfortable with that.
Yeah.
And I think like at the end of the day, we're all kind of review as this like section, but like going into it, we know like what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Try to.
Oh, I don't know what that is, but there's some like.
Okay, the problem I had when I was meeting about this, I have an intern, and so my intern schedule is like solid, like I can't stay for any reason other than like sickness. So
And then on Thursday.
if you're, so I have a third period off, so I go
Put a mask.
periods to through fourth. So I like leave school to go to the internship, so that means most days I'll only be available Tuesdays and Thursdays. So if you do anything during like the big day, I can maybe do one vacation, like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's like really early in the morning, and then I leave because I need to be back in Granite Bay. So this is like a half hour. I mean that's it's like tricky. Sometimes I probably might not. Obviously, I appreciate it. I'll send you now. It's all part of something. Yeah, only 3 days of usual, really. If you have a full, you know, how many do you have 6 classes or 4?
I have like 5 classes in school, but I have
You have 8 classes.
That makes sense. I was somewhere already. About you. Oh, yeah. It could also have sense that. Oh, one of them, I think I had one of those in the past couple of reports, but it makes sense then they thought it would have been a soft create, so.
Is there anything else?
You guys cover everything?
Not really. All of them are like, I think. Like.
Oh yeah, we should talk about that. But if we're just in like the side position, probably no.
Yeah, we do that.
Yeah.
So when you all have ideas of what you want, then you just keep doing it as you.
Is that stuff, everything that you had here, how much of it was raw guide? Okay.
But if you look in this suitcase, you'll see what gets schlepped around.
Okay.
You play the Harry Potter, the show parts in there, Lala, the Oreos, whatever adult advisors going with that, we'll bring back. And they usually put them into like size, you'll be passing them out because sometimes you might have 6 kids and you gotta keep it moving.
Yeah. Okay.
But that presentation for 6 was a 90-minute presentation.
Oh, it's accurate.
Oh, yeah. But
If do so when I'm. I don't know, yeah, I know, but like, I don't know. There's
About the Granite Bay one, I was hoping to politely decline.
Absolutely. I understand.
I
know.
Thank you.
I get it. That's why I brought that up.
Yeah, I appreciate
I'm
that.
trying to make sure I bring up everything that's happened over the past 2 years that you might say, yeah, thanks, but no thanks.
Right.
You know, for the 3 years.
Yeah, it's just
Pretty much, that's what I'm hearing.
I don't know.
That's
Daniel,
brother.
yeah, Daniel.
I know, Daniel.
That's Gabe's sister.
Yeah, Dave didn't want to see it.
I don't think he ever presented at Granite Bay. Remember?
Did he? Side with him. There's been a lot, so. Anyway, that's what we were. That role is very. But I. When you.
I love those at Costco's. I think really Because they want to explain it, they want us to explain. I'm just not like too explained that you know that like that they should like because I love that like asking those like
How we doing? Have you gotten through your, pretty much? Okay, I am going to text all of you with all the, and if anyone objects, this is your moment, with everybody's name, email, and phone number, so you all have everybody's everything. Are you okay with all that? Yep. Yeah, okay, good. You guys are really, I know, I'm on Rabbi Ruben's tail, but you guys are really an amazing, dynamic group, and I'm very educated, very well spoken. I'm just really grateful to be able to work with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Where'd that come from? I'm tired. Okay, so, I need Nessa, Miriam. Who do I need? No, Lucas and Isaac left, just for a second, or, you know, you guys have heard this, you've done these before, we're just gonna pick who does what. Okay? So, email me, call me, text me if you have any problems, any questions, any concern. And if you don't want to present your school, text me. I got it. Thank you all so much for spending quality time with all of us. Oh, I'm gonna stick one more little feather in your cap here. We kind of want to have like a year-end some